Okay, classic by Spectrum Noir. It's double tip, double-sided marker with all these color combinations. And the good thing is that for the edges you can use the pointer, and then for calligraphy you can use. And price is not too bad. It's $8.99, and the color scheme is also quite wide range. So that was something that we bought a few days ago. So let's okay. Next one is quite simple thing. 4 permanent markers with again chisel tipped. So they are black in color. They are more commonly used, and it's 5 mm tip, as far as I remember. So chisel again. This is artistic aircraft. It's a dual tip illustration markers. Very useful because one side is again for calligraphy, and this other side is just to make to cover the mistakes and make edges with. So I've used the 3 mm, the same company, but this one is 5 mm, so not used it, so we'll try it later on. Yeah, luckily I didn't buy it today again because I already had it, but this is again a Staedtler metallic pen. You can use it on different surfaces. They are 1 to 2 millimeter bullet nib. Again, to make the outline, it's quite useful. But as I said, not for calligraphy, but if you've done some work with it, with some calligraphy chisel nib or column, you can cover the sides with it, or you can make edges to make it look sharp. So this is again very useful, 3 colors, because normally you don't get chisel tip other than the Pentel 550, which we have just ordered. So this is to cover if you are using paint or acrylic. The most important ones with this company is, obviously we have not got the sponsor for this one, but these were Winsor and Newton pigment marker. They are usually used for designing, and people who are in fabric industry, they use it on fabric most of the time, or you can use it on paper as well. But they are very useful. Again, dual tip. One side is a bullet, and the other side is the chisel tip. So I've got a full series, not full series, but at least I've got quite a few colors, shades, and obviously the only bad thing about these markers is they're these covers, because they don't lock up properly. If you just pick them up, they come off very quickly, and then the markers go everywhere, and then you have to put them back in this same fashion. Otherwise this cover, the glass cover, won't go in, and it doesn't lock up as well, so that's another problem. But as far as the markers are concerned, they are lovely. They've got very good shades. Sharpie, as you all know, my favorites, because you can use them. Good barrel for the ink, but I've got a big barrel one, the mega marker, but these are very close to it. For 8 mm, 6 mm markers are not that bad. So chisel tip again. This is Sharpie.com, very popular Sharpie in UK. And 4 markers, I think they were quite cheap, maybe £5-6, not that cheap, but and they work very well, because obviously you have to use black quite a lot for calligraphy. Again, my favorite calligraphy flexi, and the good thing about them is their nib is very soft, so towards the ending bit, you can easily roll the pen when you are making raw in Solus end, so which I found quite useful. And again, the top the top side of the nib is very sharp, so it doesn't leave any sort of separate line. So it all comes together when you are writing any Arabic script with this. So, and their color, my first very popular paperwork was with this, so I like it a lot. And they are probably 10-11 pound, but for the range of colors, we've got 12 pieces in one pack, and if it's 10-11 pound, that's worth. And they go quite long. Yes, the pastels which I always use for a base, and I usually break a small piece of it, and then you can use it as a chisel tip, and then you draw your calligraphy work, and then you can outline them. And some people say that you can use a hair spray to make it stable. So that's another way of drawing things or doing calligraphy. One of the ustads from Baghdad, Ustad Abbas Baghdadi, he uses these pastels, on white pastels, especially on a green board, to teach his students. And that's another thing which I learned during the course of time, that you can use pastels for calligraphy. I said I've got a wide collection of Winsor and Newton color markers and dual tip, and the reason I like them is there's a wide range of colors, plus you've got two sides. So if you are using a chisel tip and you end up with some mistakes to cover, you can use the other side, which is obviously very sharp pointed tip, so it looks very mechanical, or looks very electronic, as if you've made that print from computer, and it's a printout, because you have covered all your sometimes the ink spreads out, so you can use that side, the tip side, to cover the mistakes. So that's, yes, Winsor and Newton. This is the top company at the moment in UK. These are my blue tags, and these are uni-ball, uni-chalk markers. They are one of them I've used. It's a chalk marker. You can use it on different surfaces, but mostly these are to make a base of your work, and you can then use oil and acrylic paints on top. So that's another. So then my orange container, as you all know, orange is my favorite color. Okay, once again, to let you know, this video is not sponsored by any of these companies. It's just the most popular sort of calligraphy material that I always collect. So we got 2 pairs now. They've got 2 boxes of Sharpie. And this is again the Sharpies. They've got quite a few. It's a big range of a wide nib chisel tip markers. The maximum one I've got is 15 mm, which is obviously in my collection. This one I got from a new shop that we discovered in our area, and I was quite surprised to see that people are using calligraphy maybe in this area. I think last time couldn't find any big chisel tip markers. This is the same sort of uni chalk, and this is Pentel. Pentel obviously is another company. They've got quite a good competition. They are top shelf items. So I luckily found a red chisel tip
which is again a good sort of a collection. I've got three white, and now I've got a red one as well.
The price wise, this was very good as well. This was just one, I think it was £46, yes. So not too bad.
Then I got the gold paint acrylic, because after Christmas the sellers are saying that gold was the most popular paint, and markers and glitters, all sorts of things got sold very quickly. So I just had to buy this because I recently got a unfinished project from somewhere, and it's made up of plaster of Paris, and the plaster is coming off as you pick it up. So I just bought the paint. I've given it a spray paint this morning, but the paint says gold, but when I sprayed it, it came off as white. That's strange. So I just bought a gold acrylic, which is now to be used on that project. It's mostly the Access plaster of Paris souvenir, and then again I just thought maybe it's good to have gold and silver both together. And again, Staedtler is another company, which is maybe the third top shelf item. Sharpie, Winsor and Newton, and then obviously Staedtler is another company. So I just got a red one because I just did some work in Nasakh, and it came off very very good. Why have we got two? Oh, this is uni chalk marker, and this is white again, bigger barrel. So these are small barrels. I mean, I've not finished a single one yet, but I just thought maybe it's good to have a good big one. So that's another 15mm chisel tip white chalk marker from uni. So that was that. And now the last but not the least, I've got some stuff from this Waterstone shop this afternoon. I always wanted to draw a mirror shapes, so just needed some tracing paper. So I've got a tracing paper which is quite huge, and I didn't come around to just cut it off and then use it. Then got again 4 permanent marker. The good thing is that I use quite a lot of chisel tip ones, so just collect them wherever I find them. And again, uni, that's the most popular brand, Posca, from the same company, uni, and they are very useful markers. This is glitter, which I think I've lost 2 big bottles that I had somewhere, so I had to buy this one quite cheap, maybe just £1, but I needed 2 colors, but it comes in 6 different colors, so I just bought them. They are not my popular colors, but the pink and whatever, but gold and silver if I'm using any glue to write something on. So I was planning of making something like that. And yes, my daughter's favorite owls collection, she found a card, and this is very unique sort of thing. I always like anything which comes in book pattern. So this diary has got book pattern on both sides. Paper is not very, but it's good quality, but it's still, if you're using uniball pen, it's fine. So this is very beautiful, colorful, and embossed bookshelf book, a diary. Gold color, I've got acrylic colors of this size. They are probably 100 ml, 120 ml. So I just found gold. I couldn't see it in the shop, so the lady there, she just showed me. It came off. I couldn't see it. I said, where is it? It says it's gold because it looks like as if it's grey or something, but then she showed me it's written in white, and that's what it was. So, one last thing, calligraphy pen 4. I've used this brand before. The problem with this is that on a dry piece of paper, these tips, they just change their shape very quickly. So if you are using it for calligraphy, try using it on a laminated or a paper which is not very dry. So that's another. I've got a good collection of art line markers. One last thing from this shop, not from this shop actually, this is from, what shop was that? The Gift, yes. So the Gallery Gift is the shop. We bought it today, and it wasn't that bad. We got discounted well. And one thing that I always collect, although I don't like the thickness of the ink, they are good for the fountain pens, but not for if you're using column or a brush, then they're not good. This ink is just for fountain pens, you can use it. And for dip pen and brush, it says brush, but with brush it just finishes so quickly. So if you're using dip pen, then that's fine. So that was the color that I never had, so I bought it today. So that's all of the shopping in the past 2 months. When we'll use it, we'll let you know in our next video. Thank you very much.